later on. Y buenos días. Muy buenos
¿Cómo
días.
estás?
¿Cómo están todos? I hate
Oh,
to ask
muy
that question
bien,
this morning. ¿Cómo están? How are you? Yeah, así.
bien.
Más o menos, ¿no? Más o
Mm,
menos. Bien, vale. Bueno, vamos a practicar, vamos a practicar. We do have a couple new people in the group. I was going to have some introductions, but they're not on yet, so it's all old crew so far. Quickly, however, because we'll probably have a couple people who, will watch later and may not be on live with us right now. Just so we're all on the same page with this. Of course, you guys all know I always record our classes and then publish them on YouTube so that you can watch them later when you have an appointment and can't join us live in class. So we are recording that. And the Zoom link you have for today's class is the same Zoom link. We will use the same one through all of the spring courses. So you can reuse that link. Do try to save it. If you lose it for any reason, just send me an email and I can certainly send it to you again. But it will be the same Zoom link to get in each time. Hopefully that saves you a little bit of time so you can just squirrel that away and bring it up later. Que bien, que bien. Also, for anybody joining us first time who might be listening later, after class, I always send an email that sums up everything we did. You get a link for any links, videos, uh, or regular files from my Google file that we used during class. And you can reference all the materials that way. Ok, vale, magnífico. ¿Y qué vamos a hacer? What are we going to do? Ok, hoy vamos a hacer cosas fáciles para empezar. We're going to do some easy stuff to start off. Um, we will always do some easier things coming in the first couple of classes. We will have a little introductory thing where you talk about yourself a little bit. I am going to start off with my example here. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? ¿Qué vamos a hacer? El primer o la primera estructura, the first structure we're going to use today. First structure we're going to use today. Hola, Kyoko. Y sí, la primera estructura, the first structure we're going to use today for our kind of icebreaker, get to know you, regular chit chat kind of stuff is ir. Ir, el verbo ir, the verb ir, to go. And this verb ir, and primarily right now, you're going to be using voy, this form, or maybe you'll be using vamos. We are. Hola, Brandy. Okay. So you're most likely to use these to talk about yourself, boy, or yourself with other people, maybe in your household, right? When we talk about other people and we attach them to the idea of I, we have to switch the verb into a different form, a nosotros verb, a we verb. So you're probably using voy or vamos. You may need one of the other ones, right? If you talk about only one person, it's va. That person is going to. If you talk about a group of people, but yo, is not in the group, yeah. Those people, plural, more than one person is separate from me. I am not in with that group. Then it is van, right? And all those words mean go, but they tell who is going. Voy, I'm going. Vamos, we're going, right? Vas, if I'm talking to somebody, will be you're going, you, the friendly you, right? va, he's going or she's going, va, right? Same thing. Van, they are going, van. Okay, bien. Vale. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? How are we going to use this? We're going to use this. Oh, and by the way, we can use this to talk about going to a place, a physical place. See? Como voy a casa, I'm going home, right? Va usted a un restaurante? Are you going to a restaurant? That little word is in yellow because it is the to word, and this verb ir almost always likes to use a, right? We have to remember to attach an a. But how we are going to use it today is more donde está? It's going to be like this. It's going to be this is the way we're going to be using the forms of ir. Besides going to a place, ir, the little word, magic word a, which you see in yellow, and a second verb, but a verb that doesn't get changed into a form. It stays as an infinitive. This kind of estructura, structure, is used to talk about what will happen, what is going to happen for sure in the future. It is a way of expressing the future conversationally that everybody does who is a Spanish speaker. So, entonces, sí, voy a comer, I'm going to eat. Vamos a escuchar, we're going to listen. Ellos van a tomar un taxi. They're going to take a taxi. Mi amigo va a pagar. My friend is going to pay. Yeah, yay. Bien. So we're going to use this structure. Ir with a and a second verb and infinitive. And I'm just going to add on another page here quickly. I'll put your screen back on in just a minute. I'm going to couch this in a little easier to read form before I put it back on screen. Aquí vamos. Here we go. La pregunta es, the question is, la pregunta es. La pregunta es algo, vamos a hablar de las actividades que vamos a hacer, the activities we are going to do. Entonces, la pregunta es, ¿qué vas a hacer? ¿Qué vas a hacer hoy? What are you going to do today? Tengo que reducir el tamaño aquí. What are you going to do today? ¿Qué vas a hacer hoy? ¿Qué vas a hacer hoy? ¿Qué vas a hacer hoy? Y voy a empezar. This second verb you're going to have to replace with something different in all likelihood because that is going to tell what it is you're going to do. Entonces, mi ejemplo, por ejemplo, es que voy a llamar al plomero. Es la verdad. This is the truth. I'm going to call the plumber. En realidad, ya acabo de llamar al plomero. I really just called the plumber. Voy a llamar, voy a llamar, voy a llamar. Y tengo que engrandecer esto. Sí, I need to make this a little bigger para que sea más fácil leer. So it's easier to read. Voy a llamar. I'm going to call. Voy a llamar al plomero. Hay un problema. Hay un problema en dos de mis baños. Hay un problema con la bañera, con el grifo, faucet. Con el grifo, sí, en dos bañeras en mi casa. Así que voy a llamar y voy a trabajar con el plomero. ¿Qué van a hacer hoy? What are you guys going to do today? ¿Qué van a hacer hoy?
Marilyn, can I ask a question
Sí,
before
sí,
trying an answer? Well,
sí.
in my mind, it sounds a little funny. Can you use ir as the verb where, like in your example, you have llamar? Can you use ir like
Sí,
I'm going to go somewhere?
exacto. Sí, Marcos, exacto.
Okay,
Muy bien,
so
sí. Y
vo-
se dice mucha, es muy común. Ir dos veces, ir twice.
right.
Sí, se puede, you can. Se puede, you can. Ok, Marcos,
Okay.
¿qué vas a
Yeah.
hacer?
Voy a ir al partido de Diamondbacks.
¡Yay!
Mm.
¡Wow! ¡Qué
Qué bien.
emocionante! Vas a ir al estadio, vas a ir al estadio. Magnífico. ¿Y cuál es el otro equipo en el partido?
El otro equipo son los Orioles de Baltimore.
Ah,
Ah, bien, bien.
mm,
¿Es,
mm,
es buen equipo este año el equipo de Baltimore?
Sí.
Sí, tienen buen equipo. Ok, vale. Muy bien. Fantástico. ¿Qué más? Who else? ¿Qué vas a hacer? What are you going to do?
mm.
Julie, sí.
Voy a jugar la canasta.
Bien. Muy bien. Muy bien. Ah, bueno, con tus amigas, con tus
Sí,
amigos.
sí.
¿Es un grupo regular?
Am, sí, pero no es, no, no soy un regular.
Ah, bien. Ok. Vale, sí. ¿Y ustedes van a comer?
No.
No, ok. Vale. Bueno, ok. Muy bien. Ah, Karen, ¿qué vas a hacer hoy?
Ah, voy a ir al supermercado.
Bien, muy normal, muy normal. ¿Sí? Vale, sí. ¿Qué vas a comprar? ¿Qué vas a comprar? ¿Vas a comprar como carne? ¿Vas a comprar
Ah, las
verduras?
frutas.
¿Vas a comprar fruta?
Ujú. Comprar las frutas.
Bien, bien, excelente.
Ujú,
You will
ujú.
notice as I give you this warm-up question, I will probably follow up with a related question. I'm going to try to do that with everybody, ¿sí?
Ujú,
Bien.
ujú.
Ok, vale. Bueno, ¿qué más? ¿Qué vas a hacer hoy? Today, hoy. Voy a llorar después de ver las acciones. I'm gonna cry after seeing the stocks. Voy a llorar.
Oh, no, no, no.
Ok, ¿qué vas a hacer? What are you gonna do?
Voy a la oficina de medicino,
Oh, del médico.
médico,
Sí,
de médico,
sí.
sí.
Ah, sí. Bueno, am, Danita, ¿vas a manejar a la oficina o vas a tomar un autobús o vas a caminar a la oficina?
Al caminar la oficina, no
Muy
autobús.
bien. Está muy cerca.
Sí.
Está muy cerca. ¡Wow! Fantástico, fantástico. Y hace buen tiempo, ¿sí? La temperatura para caminar es una temperatura perfecta, ¿verdad?
Oh, no perfecta.
No, hace un poco de calor,
Mucho, mucho, mucho
un poco.
calor. Oh,
Sí, sí, esta semana, this week, esta semana va a ser calor. Va a
yes.
ser la primera, it's going to be, va a
Oh,
ser
frío.
la
Va a
primera
ser.
semana con mucho calor.
Ah, sí,
¿Sí? ¿Verdad? Sí.
sí.
Ah, ok. Vale. Bueno, ¿qué vas a hacer hoy? What are you going to do today? ¿Alguien más? Anybody else want to add something? ¿Qué vas a hacer? And I'm hitting you out of the blue, I know. So it's kind of, but that's the way it is in real life, isn't it? See?
Yeah, yeah.
See? Sí, Julie.
Voy a caminar con los perros de mi hija.
Ah, sí, voy a caminar con los perros. Caminar con los perros, hay un verbo muy específico que se usa mucho para expresar que caminamos con los perros y
Caminar.
es pasear.
Caminar.
Pasear, sí, pasear a
Sí.
los perros. Walk the dogs. Se puede decir caminar con los perros, pero es frecuente expresar esta idea que tomamos los perros, sí, para hacer sus cosas, to do their stuff. Sí, como pasear a los perros, and we have that. That is the a personal. It's not the to word. Yeah, there, that little a is acting as when an object receiving the action, the dogs are receiving the benefit of the walking activity. They are receiving the action, not doing the action, but receiving it. When whoever receives the action is a human being, we put the a there. And they say, wait a minute, perros, no son humanos. Those are not humans. But we consider our dogs and cats and birds and whatever you have as a pet. Anything that is a pet, we use the a personal. We treat them as humans when they receive the action. Okay. Bueno, hay otra pregunta para empezar, para hablar un poco. Y la segunda pregunta es, ¿qué vas a hacer? No es hoy, esta semana. Esta semana, this week. ¿Sí? Un poquito más tarde, ¿sí? Durante toda la semana, ¿sí? Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. ¿Qué vas a hacer esta semana? ¿Qué vas a hacer esta semana? Esta semana, voy a empezar mis nuevas clases. I'm going to start my new classes. ¿Sí? Esta semana, por ejemplo, esta semana voy a... Uy, ¿qué más? Esta semana voy a quitar, 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 voy a quitar las malas, ah, malas hierbas, weeds, del jardín.
Ah,
¿Sí? Voy a quitar. I'm going to take them out. ¿Ok? ¿Qué vas a hacer esta semana, this whole week? ¿Qué vas a hacer esta semana? Y no hablamos solamente de hoy. We're not just talking about today.
I'll try.
Bueno, sí, Karen.
Okay. Mi esposo y yo vamos a la fiesta esta semana.
Bien. Ok. Bueno, bueno. Y ¿a quiénes vas a ver? Who are you going to see? ¿A quiénes vas a ver?
Ah, um, muy amigos
Ok.
a la banco.
Ok. Bien. Bien. Muy bien. Bueno, ¿Qué más? ¿Qué vas a hacer esta semana? Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes. ¿Qué vas a hacer esta semana? Algo. Por ejemplo, sí, también voy a ordenar, voy a ordenar mi habitación extra. Voy a ordenar, put in
Or-
order, tidy up.
Sí.
Voy a ordenar. ¿Por qué voy a ordenar mi habitación extra, my extra bedroom? Ah, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Ah, ¿por qué? Porque mi hija va a trabajar en su nuevo empleo, ¿sí? En la habitación extra. Porque mi hija va a trabajar, ¿sí? En su computadora, ¿sí? En su nuevo empleo, in her new job, ¿sí? En la habitación extra. Así que, voy a ordenar mi habitación extra durante toda la semana, ¿sí? Ok, vale. ¿Hay algo más que ustedes van a hacer esta semana? Things that you're doing this week. Muchas veces las cosas no son súper interesantes, son cosas de todos los días, ¿sí? They're like everyday stuff, ¿sí? ¿Bien? ¿Algo más? ¿O no?
No.
¿No? Ok. Ah, o vamos a. Bien. Vale. Bueno. I wanted to make sure that you got talking a little bit about what you're going to do. We're also going to take a look at another verb, but we're going to do a little listening comprehension first. This will be a fun one. This will be to loosen up your ear. I want you to listen for another verb that we often use in combination with a second verb. Okay. Ir a is one combination, going to do something. And we use that to talk about what will happen, what somebody is going to do. Okay. So it isn't happening right now, but it will in the near future. There is another verb combination, not using ir, but using querer. You're going to hear querer a lot in this video. So this is a fun one to kind of remind us of a second verb, one that we hear a lot. And it will not talk about the future, but it will talk about rather than what we're going to do, what we want. And again, just as ir can be used with places or actions, querer, to want, can be used with things or actions in a similar way, okay? But you're going to notice that querer does not need that little word a. It does not need the little word a. That particular verb doesn't use it. It's just the way it is. And we can use it to say that you want things or you want to do things. So I want you to be on the lookout for that. This is a little tongue-in-cheek fun video. ¿Pueden ver la pantalla? Can you see the screen?
yes.
Sí.
Okay. I want you to be on the lookout or the hear out. What do you call that? See? He is going to use the term genio. Genio. Genio in normal conversation generally means genius. Por ejemplo, Einstein fue un genio. Einstein was a genius. See? But he's going to use genio in a different definition of the same word, but a different definition, and you're going to get what it means pretty quickly. I'm going to see if I can get subtitles on for you as well.
Uf. Qué calor.
Que calor. That's going to be the rest of us from now until, well, once that heat hits, yeah. Oof. Those exclamations when we say, oh boy, the way they say it in Spanish is often, oof, oof. Que calor. How hot, yeah. Que calor literally is what heat, but we would say how hot. Que calor.
Qué calor. Quiero agua.
Quiero agua. I want
Water.
water. So here he's pairing quiero with a thing, what he wants.
Quiero agua. ¿Dónde hay agua?
Where is there water?
¿Qué es esto? ¿Eh? Es una lámpara.
Es una lámpara. It's a
Lamp.
It's a lamp. Remember, when we don't know what an object is, when we're curious about an object and we don't really know what it is, and you ask, what is this? It's ¿qué es esto? ¿Qué es esto? Esto ending in an O, even though it ends in an O, is not a masculine word. It's a neutral, a neuter word. It means that we don't know what the object is, and we're asking for a definite. Oh, ¿qué es esto? What is this thing? And then he looks more carefully. Es una lámpara. It's a lamp.
No. Aquí no hay agua.
Here, no water. There's no water.
¿Mm? Un genio.
Un genio, which usually means genius, but in this context, genio also means
A genie.
dang.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Hola, soy William y soy
Okay, William.
el genio de la lámpara. ¿Y tú? Yo soy Andrés. Yo soy Andrés. Andrés, tienes 3 deseos. ¿3 deseos?
Tienes tres deseos. Tres deseos. You've got.
Three wishes.
Mm.
Three
Sí.
wishes.
3 deseos. Piensa bien.
Piensa bien. Think.
Hard.
Think well. Three.
Think well.
We might say think hard about that, you know, ponder that. Yeah. Piensa bien. Piensa bien. Okay.
¿Qué quieres? Agua. Quiero agua. ¿Quieres agua? Toma agua.
Have some water.
No. Esta botella de agua es pequeña. Es muy pequeña. Tú solo has dicho quiero agua.
Solo has dicho. The has dicho is one of the past tense forms. Has dicho says you asked for. You only said. You only said. That dicho D-I-C-H-O comes from decir, which is the verb that means to say or to tell. And he could have phrased it as dijiste, you said, but in Spain, they kind of like this has dicho, you have said, but hey, you just said, you just said. Yeah, it just puts it in the past. So just know that has dicho hangs together, and has dicho means you said. Okay, vale.
Quiero agua. No has dicho cuánta agua.
Ah, you didn't say how much. You didn't say how much water. ¿Cuánta agua? How much water?
Yo quiero una botella grande. Una botella grande. Tú quieres una botella grande. Ok, una botella grande. Toma. Genio. Esto es una botella grande, pero no tiene agua. No tiene agua. Ah, tú has dicho, quiero una botella grande.
You said you want a big
Quiero
bottle.
una botella grande, has dicho. Una botella grande. Eso es una botella grande.
That's a big bottle,
Pero no tiene agua.
but it doesn't have water.
Tú no has dicho, quiero una botella de agua grande.
You didn't say it. A big bottle of water.
Bueno, Andrés, ahora solo tienes un deseo.
You've only got
Solo
one wish.
tienes un deseo. Piensa bien.
Think well.
Piensa muy bien.
Think real hard.
Un deseo. Genio, quiero ir a mi casa.
Ah, and now he switches to not saying I want a thing, but I want to do something. Quiero ir a mi casa. Quiero ir a mi casa. I want to go to my house.
Quiero ir a mi casa. ¿Quieres ir a tu casa? Ok, bien. ¿Un teléfono? Mira, mira el teléfono.
Look at
Quiero ir a mi casa. Adiós, Andrés. Adiós. Genio. No. No. Genio. Genio.
¿Quieres seguir viendo
Okay.
con
it. El fin. That's the end of that. But you'll notice that we use querer with things, just like we did with ir, but minus that little a word, all right? Querer does not use the a word. So if we want to talk about wanting things, we use querer. If we want to talk about wanting to do something, we can also use querer. So let's take a quick look at querer again as a little reminder of what happens with querer. Querer is, well, ir is irregular as well, but querer es muy irregular, muy irregular. Querer, right? There is no I sound in querer, querer. But it does get an EE sound in most because it is what we call a stem changing verb. That means in this shoe-like structure, these particular conjugations get an I inserted, right? Quiero, quiero. Like think of a key that you insert into a lock, right? Quiero, quiero, quieres, quiere, quieren. And then when we use the nosotros form, we forget about that E because the nosotros form in stem changing verbs is always outside the shoe or boot. That means that the nosotros forms for stem changers does not get the stem change. It looks back to the original queer of the infinitive itself, querer, and it keeps that, right? So, whereas querer is conjugating queremos, muy regular, very regular, it gets the key sound for everything else. Quiero, quieres, quiere. Ok, vale. Bueno, entonces, la próxima. La próxima pregunta. ¿Qué quieres hacer durante la primavera? What do you want to do during the spring? ¿Qué quieres hacer durante la primavera? Yo, por ejemplo, sí, quiero, I want. Ah, quiero, quiero visitar con mi amigo ah, que visita de Londres. I want to visit with my friend. Uh,
London.
que viene, voy a cambiar esto, I'm going to change, que viene de Londres. I want to visit with my friend who's coming from London. Quiero visitar con mi amigo. Quiero visitar con mi amigo que viene de Londres. ¿Qué quieres hacer? ¿Qué quieres hacer? What do you want to do? And we're going to have to take out that hacer and plug in a different verb. But notice quieres doesn't use an a. The two verbs are going to meet and be right next to each other. We only use the quiero and then we keep the second verb as an infinitive. So quiero visitar, quiero, I conjugate to talk about myself, but the visitar stays visitar, doesn't get conjugated. Quiero visitar. ¿Qué quieres hacer? What do you want to do? Durante la primavera. ¿O qué no quieres hacer? What don't you want to do? Julie, sí.
Quiero plantar algunas flores.
Bien, bien. Bueno, ¿sí? También quiero cultivar, quiero cultivar las verduras. I want to grow the veggies, ¿sí? En mi jardín, ¿sí? Quiero cultivar. I want to grow. Cultivar is grow when it's a crop or something pretty, yeah? Sí, cultivar is cultivate. Quiero cultivar las verduras en mi jardín. Bueno, ¿qué más? ¿Qué quieres hacer durante la primavera?
Quiero estar el libro tanto como sea posible.
Okay, tanto sea posible, as much as possible. Bien, bien, fantástico. ¿Qué más? Quiero, por ejemplo, sí, algo. Sí, Kyoko, perdón. And I think you might be on mute, Kyoko, because we cannot hear you.
Bien.
Mejor, mejor.
Quiero visitar mi familia y amigos
Bien.
en Japón.
Ah, magnífico.
Oh, sí.
Wow.
Mm.
Es un viaje muy largo. It's a long trip. Sí, sí. Vale, sí. Bueno, fantástico. Ah, am, bueno, Kyoko, ¿toda tu familia está en Japón? All your family? ¿Toda la familia está en Japón?
Mi, hold on.
Como hermanos, hermanas y los
Mi
padres.
madre,
Oh,
mi
oh,
madre y mi hermano.
Ah, bien.
oh.
Y un hermano. Bien, fantástico. Excelente. Bueno, gracias. ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué quieres hacer? What do you want to do? Want to do. Ah, sí, Marcos. Oh, and you're on mute.
Quiero comer algunos restaurantes nuevos durante la semana de restaurantes.
Ah, oh, ah, la semana de restaurantes es una celebración de los restaurantes.
Sí, it's called Arizona Restaurant Week.
Es un evento.
Oh,
Sí,
Ah,
in, in
¿está en Scottsdale o está en Phoenix? O...
todos.
Todo, sí.
Ujú.
Ok, en toda la zona, sí. De
Oh,
Phoenix.
well, sí,
Ah,
but muchos de los restaurantes son en el Valley.
ok. Ah, muchos de los restaurantes que están en el valle, ¿sí? Bien, bien. Ah, excelente. Ah, y este es un evento que pasa todos los años durante la primavera.
Dos veces, uh, dos veces todos los años.
Ah, dos veces. Ah, sí, bien. Fantástico. Bueno, muy interesante. Muy interesante. Ah, siempre es buena idea ir a algún restaurante nuevo, ¿sí? Some new kind of restaurant. Bueno, excelente. Entonces, ¿qué quieres hacer? ¿Qué quieres hacer durante la primavera? Otra cosa. Anything else?
oh, I can try. Quiero caminar en mi vecindario, ver las flores,
Ah,
las
sí. A
flores.
ver las flores. Muy bien, sí. Ah, no hay tantas flores este año
Sí,
comparado con otros años, sí, ¿verdad?
sí,
Ah, esta primavera, this spring, esta primavera, no hay tantas flores en cantidades enormes de flores como lo normal, like the norm, ¿sí? Este año, porque llovió un poquito, llovió como 2 días. Llovió como 2 días aquí en el valle, ¿sí? Durante la primavera. Así que hay menos, there are fewer, hay menos flores
Yeah.
este año de lo normal. Bueno, ¿qué quieres hacer? What else do you want to do? ¿Qué quieres hacer? ¿Qué quieres hacer? ¿Otra idea? Any other idea? Sí, Andrés.
Quiero visitar con mi familia 2 semanas en Wisconsin.
Oh, wow. ¿Y dónde viven en Wisconsin? ¿Viven en el norte de Wisconsin o en el sur?
Central,
En el central, en el
Real
centro.
Central.
Ah,
Yeah.
bien, sí, en el centro de Wisconsin. Bien.
Mhm.
Y ahora hace fresco en Wisconsin, ¿es verdad?
Muy fresco.
Sí, a veces hace frío, sí.
Yeah.
Sí, tengo un cuñado, brother-in-law, tengo un cuñado que está al norte de Wisconsin, está en la parte del norte de Michigan.
Mhm.
Sí, y hace frío, sí.
Mhm.
Ah, en abril casi siempre hace frío. Bien,
Yeah.
bueno, pero es mejor que temperaturas en como 100 grados o 95 grados, ¿verdad? Sí, bien. Bueno, ¿hay algo más? ¿Is there anything else? ¿Qué quieres hacer? ¿Qué quieres hacer? ¿Sí? ¿No? ¿Sí? ¿No? Ok, vale. Bien. Ah, vamos a ver. Let's see. Um, I would like to have a little mini lesson now, little mini lesson. And I'm going to have you listening to this is kind of a theme we'll talk about. We're going to talk about one part of this bigger lesson in particular for a couple of sessions of our class, but I want you to start thinking about it. It is kind of a theme, and the theme is pronouns, which is really, wow, that does not generate a lot of excitement, but pronouns, yeah. But pronouns happen, and pronouns are teeny tiny words. So the big picture I want us to think about is that pronouns are things you're going to hear a lot. And maybe we need to think about what their jobs are because pronouns do have a job, right? But what that job is may be different in the context of one sentence versus another. And why does that matter? And sometimes pronouns, because they're such teeny tiny words, they get inserted in places that we don't expect because they come in a different word order than the word order of English. And therefore, it kind of throws a wrench in the works. Yeah. Hearing a pronoun can sometimes get in the way of our understanding the message of a sentence, even though they're teeny tiny words. So that's why it matters. And what we want to look at is the different kinds of jobs that a pronoun may have. Okay. So what is a pronoun? A pronoun, nouns, remember, nouns are persons, or names of, I should be more specific, names of persons, places, or things. Yeah. And pronouns are little short words. They're not generally long words that represent a person or a thing, so that you don't have to keep repeating that name over and over and over again. Pronouns help us to keep communication a little bit shorter. So they stand in to represent a thing. I'll give you an example. Un ejemplo, un ejemplo. Aquí, tengo una tarjeta. I've got a card, ¿sí? Es una tarjeta de cumpleaños. It's a birthday card. Es una tarjeta de cumpleaños para mi hermana, porque mi hermana tiene su cumpleaños al fin de la semana. Así que voy a enviar, enviar, ¿sí? Voy a enviar, voy a enviar. La stands for this whole thing because it's a feminine thing. La voy a enviar en el correo, at the post office, en el correo, ¿sí? A mi hermana, ¿sí? La voy a enviar. It, I'm going to send. But notice in English, we would say, I'm going to send it. And the it word, which represents this whole thing, in English, we stick it way in the back. But in Spanish, quite often it comes way up to the front. La voy a enviar. It, I'm going to send. So here's what I want you to think about a little bit is that the order, if you are a Spanish speaker who grows up hearing only Spanish as a little baby, you're speaking your first language, the order of words, the way they think of it is in that order. It, I'm going to send. La voy a enviar. That's the word order they think in, rather than I'm going to send it being way at the end of the sentence. But the core is la is a pronoun and it represents this thing. So I don't have to keep saying la tarjeta, la tarjeta, la tarjeta. So I could say, for example, I could use the word la to be a pronoun and I could say, sí, tengo una tarjeta para el cumpleaños de mi hermana, ¿sí? La voy a, la voy, la voy a firmar, la voy a firmar. I'm going to,
Sign.
la voy a firmar, ¿sí? Y la envío en el correo, la envío, la mando, la envío, I send it off, ¿sí? La envío en el correo, ¿sí? Y entonces mi hermano, o mi hermana, perdón, mi hermana la recibe. She'll
Receive.
Quiere.
Sí, la recibir, sí. La va a tener, she's going to have it, sí. La va a tener al fin de la semana, sí. Bien. But instead of having to say, I have a card, I'm going to sign the card, I'm going to send the card, she's going to receive the card. You don't want to keep having to say la tarjeta, la tarjeta, la tarjeta all the time. See, is he here? Okay, bien.
Done in 5.
You're talking to him? El plomero.
Done in 5.
Done in 5 minutes?
Well, he's cleaning up right now.
Oh, okay, bien. Perdón, el plomero. Okay, bien. So that we don't have to keep saying la tarjeta over and over and over again. All right, so, así que. Let's take a look at what some of the jobs of pronouns are and why they get in the way. Okay. This thing in gray is going to be kind of what we use in English. Okay, so keep in mind the gray box is kind of an English reference. Here are pronouns that you will hear a lot because you're going to hear some of these pronouns in the listening video you're going to have for homework that you can start to think about this. Here are some pronouns that you will hear a lot, but they do different jobs. Sometimes these pronouns do different jobs, and we're going to talk about that today. And the gray is just what they mean, right? In English, pronouns might be I or maybe me. Yeah. I'm going to the store and my son is taking me to the store. I and me serve different functions, right? You, but you only winds up being you. He or him, she or her, we or us, you, but more than one, meaning you plural, yeah. They or them, they or them. So it's in this order, right? This kind of order is the order we have to think of with pronouns for Spanish. Sometimes we have subject pronouns, right? So this is just a grouping so that you can think of pronouns as a big group, right? We have in Spanish subject pronouns. We have we have other pronouns that serve as, have a job as direct objects, right? We have other pronouns that have a job as indirect objects. We have pronouns that sometimes come after a preposition. Yeah. You never say, hey, come with I. You say, come with me,
Me.
right? Okay, so with me. In English, we can't say come with I. Would you understand somebody if they said come with I? You would know what they meant, but does it sound off, weird? Yeah, because it's wrong. But you get the idea, right? Prepositional pronouns are pronouns that come after a preposition. And you're going to see that those are different in Spanish. And then we have something called reflexives. And this is what I want to talk about as our big topic during the spring, or kind of put a spotlight on this for the spring. But it's kind of impossible to isolate and only talk about reflexives. Reflexives are a special category. So let's take a look at all these words. Yeah, see? Bien. Sometimes we have words that you'll notice, ooh, they repeat a lot. Ooh, I've got the same group of words here. Oh, I've got the same group of words here. Wow. Mete and nos. Mete and nos. That winds up getting repeat usage a lot of times. That's kind of an advantage. Yeah. But mete and nos, they talk about the same person, but they're not the same word as yo, tú, and nosotros. Yeah, they're different sets of words. And they're different. Oh, then I've got me, ti, and nosotros. Okay, well, why do I have that? We have these different categories because these pronouns, even though they refer to maybe the same kind of human being, they have different functions, they have different jobs. So we're going to take a look at what some of those jobs are so that we think about that. Subject pronouns, they tell who does the action of the verb. They tell who's doing it, right? If I'm talking about cooking, subject pronouns tell who does the cooking, yeah? If I'm talking about eating something, it talks about who it is that's doing the eating. If I'm talking about an action of hitting a baseball, who's hitting the baseball? Yeah? Who's hitting the baseball? That's the subject. Okay, and in Spanish, every subject pronoun, and they're the ones you see in the pink-ish box, yeah, in that pink box, all those subject pronouns, each subject pronoun will use a specific kind of verb conjugation. It'll pair up with a certain kind of verb form. That's the way Spanish works. Okay, it's the way French works. That's the way a lot of languages work. All right, and that's why we call those verb conjugations. A verb conjugation matches up with a specific pronoun. So because each subject pronoun uses a specific verb conjugation, the verb Often really is the whole package in Spanish. That does not happen with English. Yeah, that does not happen with English. You can't say, uh, going to the park in English because you don't know who. But in Spanish, essentially, you can say going to the park because the conjugation for that verb is going to tell you who's doing it. And that doesn't happen with English. We have to pair it up with an actual name of somebody. I'm going to the park. My neighbor is going to the park. Hey, the kids are going to the park. We have to pair it up with something in English. Okay. So here's a kind of, I want to say maybe a dirty secret, or maybe not a dirty secret, but a secret that is maybe a little frustrating for people who are English speakers. Many people in Spanish don't bother to use a subject pronoun, even though it exists, even though it matches up with a verb, it pairs up with a certain verb form that we call a conjugation. Many people don't bother to say that little pronoun you see in the pink box. They throw it out. They don't bother with it often. Not 100% of the time, but often. The verb in the conjugation is a complete package. It's already in a form and it tells you who's doing an action. Okay. And because conjugations match up with a specific pronoun, quite often people just don't bother to say that pronoun. People will not bother to say yo. They'll say the yo form of the verb. They'll say voy, I'm going, or quiero, I want. But they won't say the yo with it quite often, right? Same with nosotros, same with tú, right? Sometimes these down here, they might use if they feel they need to be more specific. But quite often, subject pronouns are skipped, right? So you might hear a subject pronoun for clarification, right? Especially with this él, ella, usted category, because three different kind of people can take that conjugation that goes with él or ella or usted. So if they need to be specific and clarify, they may use a pronoun, but otherwise they'll often skip it. Yeah. You're going to notice that the prepositional pronouns in this box, a lot of them match up with the subject pronouns. A lot of them wind up being the same word. We still use él, we still use ella, we still use usted, ellos, ellas, ustedes, nosotros, we still use, but these two change, me and ti. So keep in mind that sometimes we get repetition in pronouns, yeah? And that happens quite a lot between subject pronouns and prepositional, meaning a pronoun that comes after, right? Immediately following a preposition word, right? Prepositions are also little teeny tiny words like to, words like de, of or from, words like en, in, words like con, with, words like para, for, and para and por have many meanings, but those are preposition words. De, en, con, para, por. Those are all what we call prepositions. So if I need to use a pronoun after one of those words, it'll wind up being the ones in this yellowish looking box. Yeah. They look quite a lot like the subject pronouns. So they're kind of related. The only ones where they're different is instead of yo, it'll be me. Instead of tú, it'll be ti. Okay. So here come the other pronouns. Whereas subject pronouns tell who does something, all of these pronouns tell who receives an action, who or what has something being done to them. Yeah. So these pronouns do not tell who does the action. They tell you who's on the receiving end. Okay? And so let's take a look at what those are. Direct objects receive the action directly. That's not very helpful. Well, okay, so let's think about, depends on what the action is. If I say, I see a bird. Yeah, I see a bird. What's on the receiving end of that action of see? It's a little feathery thing, yeah? Or I see my neighbor, right? On the receiving end of that action of see is a human being, in this case, a neighbor, right? So sometimes we use a little pronoun. Instead of saying I see the bird, I see it. Instead of I see my neighbor, I see him or I see her. We use a little pronoun. And those kinds of things are direct objects. Yeah. So direct objects will not be yo, it'll be me. Okay. A direct object will be te, not tú. A direct object will be nos, not nosotros, right? Ellos nos ven. Let me plug in an example. Un ejemplo. Ellos nos ven. They see us. The word order is very different between Spanish and English, and here's why pronouns can get in the way. We think in a word order. The word order English speakers think in is they doing the action, see the action, us on the receiving end. And what gets in the way is that many times in English, we'll think in that word order, but the Spanish word order will be very different. Ellos nos ven. They doing the action. Us on the receiving end, see. So this verb ven is conjugated for ellos, those guys, that group of people. The verb corresponds to who's doing it, ellos. Okay? And here is the receiving end. We are being seen. Okay? We don't expect this word order. It's kind of out of the norm for the word order that we think in. But that is the way it winds up being said. And sometimes when you hear a story being told, it's in this sort of, uy, perdón, excuse me a quick moment.
Bills to pay.
Oh, bills to pay. Tengo que pagar el plomero. Perdón. Tengo que escribir un cheque. Lo voy a escribir. Perdón. Es el 7. Today's the 7th. Sí. $193. Y todo bien. Todo funciona. Everything works.
Okay, as far as I'm aware, yes.
A ver, okay. Bien, 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 bien. Ah.
All right.
Vale.
Okay, too
Y
many.
necesita, sí, una copia es para nosotros. ¿Me entiendes? Perdón, el primero. Pobre plumero, poor plumber. Ok, vale, sí. Ok, entonces, sí. Direct object receives it. Okay, indirect objects. Ooh, let's take a look at what are, ooh, they receive the action indirectly. Oh, that's not helpful. Here's what is helpful. Okay, let's say I have an action like dar. Dar. Give. See? Bien. You might say, well, if the action is give, the thing that I am giving, the actual thing that I am giving is un cheque, a check. See? Lo doy. I give it. Oh, the thing that I am giving is a direct object. Lo doy. I give it. Lo doy. But who's getting the it? I'm not getting it. I'm giving my money away, right? I'm giving it to the plumber, yeah, to him. So indirect objects tell who gets the direct object. Aha, yeah.
Okay.
So here are little pronouns we'll use when we have an indirect object. Oh, look, how handy dandy. It's still me. It's still te. It's still nos. This you guys category we don't use on this side of the big pond of the Atlantic, right? But it's different between direct objects and indirect objects in Spanish, right? With this category here. Lo will refer to a masculine thing or person. Could be a thing or a person. La will be a feminine thing or a person, right? Los will be a group, more than one, masculine or mixed group, and las will be feminine, gender, right? Group of things. Okay, bien. In indirect objects, those get reduced. They don't go into gender. No gender, no masculine and feminine with indirect objects. So if I say I'm giving him a check, right? I'm not giving him away. I'm giving a check, but that check is going to him. And the him word will become this little word le. All right. And if I gave a check to a group of people, it would be les, indicating it was more than one person on the receiving end. Okay, so that is the down and dirty between what does it mean to say a direct object or an indirect object, right? So, okay, vale. Here are the little pronouns we use. And in many cases with direct and indirect, they share the same little pronoun. They share the same one. They differ in the ones that are underlined. The ones that are underlined are the ones that don't use the same kind of structure for those pronouns. And then we're going to also have this little category, which I hope we are going to focus on poco a poco, little by little, throughout much of the spring. And that is going to be what we call reflexive object pronouns, okay? And yay, the happy part is look, me, te, and nos will be the same once again. Yay. I don't have to think of a different word. But if I talk about one person, it might become the word se. If I talk about more than one person, a group, it still stays the word se. Okay? So if a direct object receives action directly, like I give a check, I give it, yeah, it would be el cheque would change to lo, right? It but I give it to him, and the to him part is le. These reflexive objects are still on the receiving end, but it's es un animal, es un animal diferente. It's a different animal. Reflexive objects don't have like a super great example in English, but reflexive verbs are a special category. And again, these little pronouns, when you hear them in stories, may start to kind of throw a wrench in the works, make it harder for you to understand the totality of the ideas that are being expressed. Reflexives technically indicate that the subject who does the action of the verb also is on the receiving end of the verb. Okay? Por ejemplo, me lavo las manos. I'm washing a part of my body. See? Me lavo las manos. I wash my hands. That's considered in Spanish what they call a reflexive verb. So you will hear, instead of lavo las manos, yeah, lavar is to wash. It will not be expressed as lavo las manos. It will be me lavo las manos. Me lavo. Yeah. I wash them. But it's a part of my body. So I'm doing it to myself. So now, okay, bien. You can kind of think of that purple box category as that someone does it to themselves, but also keep in mind in the back of the old gray matter of our brains that sometimes reflexives don't translate well as I do something to myself. They function as a reflexive verb will slightly change the meaning of the verb itself. And that will become a little more apparent in later lessons. See? Bien? Okay? Vale. That's kind of a lot to take in. That is our lesson. But our lesson is we've got pronouns, but they have different jobs. Some tell you who does it. Some tell you who's on a receiving end. Maybe the receiving end is indirect. I get an object from somebody, por ejemplo, for example. And sometimes it's even what we call a reflexive. And the big picture is, we're going to talk a lot about what it means to use a reflexive verb. So eventually we're going to get into this purple box. But for today, we're just going to focus on pronouns in general. And I want to illustrate this now with a second little video. Ooh, see. We have exactly the perfect amount of time to listen to this. Perfecto. I want you to listen for where these little pronouns will be sprinkled in.
¿Cómo están? Mi nombre es Agustina. Soy de Argentina. Pero hoy no estoy en Argentina.
I am not in Argentina, ¿sí?
Hoy estoy en Sudáfrica.
Estoy en Sudáfrica. I'm in South Africa. Okay.
Y hoy yo voy a ir. Voy a
ir. I'm gonna go. There it is. Voy a ir.
Visitar el Parque Kruger. Mi objetivo, mi meta del día de hoy.
Objetivo, meta. Meta means a goal. A goal. My objective, my goal. Meta is a great word to know Meta, a goal, it means, something you want to achieve.
Es ver los 5 grandes animales de Sudáfrica.
¿Cuál es su meta? What's her goal? Es ver los 5 grandes animales de Sudáfrica. Her goal is to do what?
See the big five.
To see 5 animals.
See the 5, the 5 big ones. The big ones.
1, el león. 2, el leopardo. 3, el búfalo. 4, el elefante. Y 5, el rinoceronte. Esos son los 5 grandes animales del Parque Kruger. Además, yo espero ver una jirafa.
Besides, I hope to see. Esperar can mean to wait for. Here it means to hope. I expect or I hope. Espero ver. I hope to see. Una jirafa. I hope to also see a giraffe. Una jirafa.
Porque a mí me encantan las jirafas.
Because I love giraffes.
Bueno, chicos, vamos al Parque Kruger.
And now when she keeps repeating the word chicos, she's really using it in the sense of, hey guys, hey you guys. Yeah, chicos means boys or kids, but people use chicos a lot, especially young people, to say, hey guys, and they're talking to you personally.
Chicos, estoy afuera del parque.
I'm outside of the park. Afuera del parque, I'm outside of.
No estoy adentro.
No estoy adentro. I'm not inside.
Pero, miren, hay muchas cebras.
There are lots of zebras.
Son muy hermosas.
They're beautiful.
Hay una cebra bebé.
Hay una cebra bebé. Hay una cebra bebé. Una cebra muy joven. Sí, joven, very young. A baby
Hay
zebra.
muchas cebras y hay una cebrita. Hay una.
And cebrita, she changed that ita, makes something small in size. Zebra would be a zebra. Cebrita, a little zebra.
Cebra bebé. Oh.
And actually, this AI is incorrect. Zebra in Spanish is not spelled with a Z. It is always spelled with a C. In Spanish, there's just a rule thing that you cannot have ZE next to each other. That's all that is, yeah. So it is spelled with CE, but that ZE is an mistake by AI. So just keep that in mind.
Amo. Es muy.
Here's our first little pronoun. La amo. La amo. Amar is to love. La amo. The la doesn't tell who's doing the loving. Amo, she says, I love. En inglés, I love it. En español, la amo. It, I love. But the it has to look back at what is the it? The it refers to zebra. Zebra is a feminine gendered thing. So if I need to plug in the word it, it becomes la, but it's not amo la. It's l'amo. L'amo. I love it. It I love. They think in the word order of it I love. To him I give. Yourselves, you wash your hands. That's the word order they think in. Okay? So that is word order will mess us up. And hearing that little word la, you might expect after the word la that you hear a noun, right? Like la tarjeta. But it's not la tarjeta, it's la amo, la next to a verb. La amo. It, I love. La amo.
Muy hermosa. Pero las cebras son blancas con rayas negras
Are they white with black stripes
o negras con rayas blancas.
or black with white stripes?
Escríbanlo en los comentarios.
Escríbanlo. Write it.
Chao, cebras.
Write in the comments, chicos.
¡Un elefante! Lo amo.
Lo amo. It I love. But now it's got to be a lo amo, not a la amo. Lo amo. It I love. Lo amo. Lo is talking about el elefante. Yeah? Lo amo.
Atrás hay otro.
Acá estoy con el primer gran animal africano que
Here's the first big
veo
one
hoy.
that I'm seeing today.
Es un elefante,
This
un
is an elephant.
elefante africano. Es muy grande y tiene orejas muy grandes y come
It's got big ears. Y come, and it eats. And notice she doesn't have any pronoun with come. We already know we're talking about elefante, so she doesn't need the pronoun. When she uses come, you know she's talking about elefante. See? So she doesn't say el come, right? Just come. It eats. She drops the subject pronoun.
agarrando
Agarrando means grabbing. Grabbing. Yeah? Grabbing. Agarrando, grabbing.
la trompa.
Agarrando con la trompa. La trompa. ¿Qué es la trompa?
Es muy lindo. Con la trompa
Con la trompa, with the trunk. Sí, en español la trompa, trunk es la trompa.
agarra el pasto.
Agarra el pasto. It grabs the grass. Agarra, it's grabbing. Agarra el pasto. It grabs the grass.
Las hojas y las
Las hojas, leaves.
come.
Oh, and let me grab it because we kind of slid over that. Momentito.
Ando con la trompa. Es muy lindo. Con la trompa agarra el pasto, las hojas y las come.
Las come. They don't put the, didn't put the last word in there. Las come. Las come. Them it eats. Las come. Las come. See? The las is talking about hojas, leaves. Las represents hojas, so she doesn't have to repeat the word hojas again. Las come. Them it eats.
Hay mucho tráfico
There's lots
en
of
la
traffic
calle.
the
Hay
street.
tráfico de monos.
There's monkey
Está
traffic.
lleno de monos.
And she has a very Argentine accent, so instead of it lleno, it's lleno, just so you know. We would say lleno. Está lleno. Sí, está lleno. It's full.
En toda la calle.
Full of monkeys. Lleno de monas.
Se pelean.
And here you can't see it in the AI, but se pelean. Pelear es
Boxing.
fighting. But if I have a se pelean, here's our first example, and you don't even see it in the subtitles. Se pelean means they fight with each other. The se doesn't mean they fight they're not beating up on themselves. Se pelea. The reflexive in this case changes the meaning of pelear to fight a tiny bit. It changes it from just fight to they fight each other. The se pelean means they fight with each other. So that little set word changes it very, very subtly.
Chicos, hay una jirafa. Es muy linda.
So
Son
pretty.
súper altas,
They're super tall.
pero muy altas. La jirafa es más alta de lo que yo pensaba.
It's much taller than I was thinking it would be. Yeah, the pensada is a past of pensar, to think.
Yo pensaba que la
I
jirafa
thought
era
The
alta,
giraffe was
pero
tall,
es muy alta.
but it's really tall.
Estoy feliz. Estoy feliz porque vi una jirafa.
I'm happy because I saw a giraffe.
Chicos, cruzamos un puente.
We're doing what?
Crossing a bridge.
Cruzamos un puente. We are doing what? We are
Crossing a bridge.
crossing over. Yeah, cruzar is to cross. And the amos means we're doing it. Cruzamos un puente. We're crossing a bridge. Un puente. Sí, es un puente. This is a bridge.
Y abajo del puente
Abajo del puente. Underneath. Sí, abajo. Underneath the bridge.
había agua.
There was water. The había is just a past. It means there was. Instead of there is water, there was water.
Había un río.
There
Y
was a river.
en el río yo vi la cabeza del hipopótamo.
And in the river, I saw la cabeza, the head, sí, del hipopótamo. El hipopótamo, hippopotamus.
Había un hipopótamo
There
y
was a
yo
hippo.
vi las orejitas
Vi las orejitas. She made them very, very small. Orejas, sí, orejas, sí. Orejitas makes them very small. Yeah. I saw the little teeny tiny ears, las orejitas.
del hipopótamo. Chicos, hay una familia súper grande, una familia enorme de elefantes.
A huge family of
Y
elephants.
hay muchos elefantes
And there are
bebés.
There are many babies.
Muchos elefantitos.
Elefantitos, it made them small. Elefantitos, little elephants.
Son las 5:15 de la tarde y se supone que a esta hora hay leones.
Se supone que, that se is a pronoun. It's a reflexive pronoun. Se supone que is one of the reflexives that is not like lavarse las manos, wash your hands. Se supone que, they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be. Se supone que. Se supone que. They're supposed to be at this time. There's supposed to be
Espero
lions
que
around.
sí. Espero poder ver leones.
I hope to be able to see lions.
Chicos, acabamos de ver una hiena.
We just saw a hyena, and actually that's spelled with an H, H-I-E-N-A, hyena, hyena. The AI got it wrong. Hyena is a hyena.
Comiéndose la pata.
And note, oh, comiéndose. Here, this little se is another little pronoun, comiéndose. It means gobbling up. Here's another case with comerse. Comer means to eat. Comerse is more like this kind of eat.
They eat. Double up. Comer.
Double up. Se subtly changes the meaning of comer to not just eat, but gobble up, like to really shove it in your mouth fast. Comiéndose. And here it got attached to the end because we can do that with the ing kinds of verbs, the ando, yendo. Comiéndose, eating up. La pata, the leg.
De una cebra.
QEPD stands for something, guys. I'm just going to tell you this because you wouldn't know this normally. I wouldn't expect you to know it. KEPD, KEPD, que en paz descanse, que en paz descanse. Que en paz descanse means may he rest in peace. It's like us writing in English, RIP, rest in peace. RIP is exactly the same thing as QEPD. That's how they say it in Spanish. Que en paz descanse, may he rest in peace. La pobre zebra, poor zebra. We're going to stop it there. We're going to stop it there and I'll let you finish. But I wanted you to hear an example in a very slow, easy Spanish of all those little different pronouns that get sprinkled in, sprinkled in, sprinkled in different places. But they're different kinds of pronouns and they get sprinkled in for different reasons. So we're going to start this spring to see those different reasons of why they get sprinkled in and try to detect and understand why that happens and when it happens and how to use it. Okay? Está bien? All good? Bien? I'm going to ask you to finish that little video and actually to watch it a second time. And because with the AI subtitles don't translate every single word exactly correctly. So you have to listen really, really closely. So you probably want to listen to that video. Por lo menos, sí, I would say at least 3 times, 3 veces, 3 times. Sí, por lo menos, at least 3 times. And listen for just the big idea first. Listen the second time. Try to pick out some of the little pronouns, maybe on another screen or print out what those little pronouns are and listen for those little words. And we're going to try to detect how we can more easily listen for all the meanings of what those little words mean. Okay? Está bien? Good?
Bien.
And if you have other topics you desperately want to cover, like there's some topic you're weak in or you find hard, the burning question of the week, come with that or email, send it to me ahead of time so I can, incorporate it. That's good too. Always good. ¿Sí? ¿Todo bien? ¿Todo bien? ¿Todo
Sí.
bien?
Muy bien.
Fantástico. Muy bien. ¿Sí? Muchísimas gracias por participar. Thank you for participating. ¿Sí?
Yes.
Y bueno, eso es todo, ¿sí?
Sí.
Y nos
Sí.
vemos.
Nos vemos.
Sí. Que tengan buena
Buenos días.
semana. May you all have a good week.